Hello, I am the Aqua GM Corbin, and today we are going to be talking about At the Gates. At the Gates New Game Plus, where I go over my campaign planning for At the Gates. If you are unfamiliar with this show, if this is your first time tuning in, feel free to just put me on in the background while you do other things. I am what I like to call second screen content. You can see here we've got our campaign setting already, excuse me, planned out so far. I've got a bit of notes here. I think I have 17 pages of notes almost. We got the map from D. Danielle posted this on the Onyx Path Discord. If you're already not part of this, let me just throw that in there. Of course, Curseborn is coming out soon. If I type in Curseborn, you can sign up to get notified when the Kickstarter goes live. And currently, Storypath Ultra is on Backer Kit. If I do that, oh, Backer Kit. There we go. You can sign up for that as well. Currently at, I believe, about like 4,043. No, it's at a high amount. It's at a very high amount. And I'm impressed. I can't wait for it to hit the next goal, which I believe is back kit. It's 43,000 right now. If it gets to 45,000, we unlock more stretch goals and see what's in the future, which I'm pretty excited for. Now, as far as the planning goes for this, I do have the Storypath Ultra manuscript open right now. I do also have the manuscript for At the Gates. We'll be going over mostly the At the Gates manuscript while I do my notes. Where we left off? Where's our story so far? We have the introductory story where our players get together at a little city called Talpidium, where they get into a bar fight with some mages. They get recruited by the queen to sort of scour the earth of the figure out what the mages are trying to do, or take them out, and in doing so, be put on a quest to find dragons to help defeat the greater demons that are out in the world. Now, the player's goal is to find 4 of the dragons. We've done the spring dragon is in Ordonia, the winter dragon is in Capernite, the autumn dragon is in Salacia, and the summer dragon is in Invice, which I made a change, and this can happen with your notes if you're not careful. Federation of Eves was where the summer dragon is, and I believe we're going to have to do Invice as the autumn dragon, which it auto-corrected to inverse. But there we go. Pretty excited for stuff going on. Next week, I will not be doing the At the Gates campaign planning. I'm going to take a little break to cover Scion God. And then after that, it's going to be Curseborn month. So we'll see what happens. In any case, we do have the Dragon of Spring. Well, first we have the Outlands, where the players are dealing with getting the tablet that tells them where the dragons are. Then we have the Dragon of Spring, and that one had a bunch of stuff in regards to fighting Capernites, demons, as well as void-warped creatures. And then when we got to the Summer Dragon and the Federation of Eves, we have a conflict dealing with possibly an assassination attempt, also a little bit of political intrigue stuff thrown in there, but most of the stuff that I think the players would be dealing with is void-tainted creatures, as well as a Jabunta, which are sort of like these giant sea creatures that sometimes have entire cities inside of them, which I didn't really plan out a city inside the Jabunta for this, but if the players do, I feel like we could do a pirate city or something in there. And we did give the Summer Dragon a name of the Astrids. Astrid. Now, I think I had Chapter 5 as the Dragon of Autumn in VC. I need to double check in VC because I think... Is that the... Yeah, that's the one that's in the middle of a war. We did... Talpidium... Vitrumarian. Okay, Vitrumaria is the one that's led by President Hollister. I do have a mistake in my notes here. Okay. So I did have to put that here where it's like Vitrumaria is the last place that we go to. Sometimes you make mistakes and you have to just deal with them as they come. The best laid plans of mice. Now, let's look up a little bit more about NVC. And I'm probably screwing up my stream a little and going to the manuscript. Yes. But as you can see here, the manuscript has a really good bookmark set up. So it just jumps straight to where I need it to go. This is why I feel comfortable making games with the manuscripts, even though I don't have the finalized book copy of this, because they put a lot of effort into getting this laid out properly, and you don't often see that with rough drafts of games. Sometimes they don't even have like the bookmarks. It's can be crazy though, but it makes it easy for us to jump around. And I also always love a Control F when I need it. So let's get some history here. So NVC's northwest border was protected by a mountain chain that stretched far into Vitrumaria's south. That is until Scala, the Dustbringer, flattened the mountains and allowed Vitrumarian troops to swarm the nation. Now they are embroiled in a war with the enemy who has them outclassed and outmanned. To kill a mockingbird, to kill Swansong, NVC's leader has sent a call to aid for aid from Everend's other nations, but few have responded. Each has enough of its own problems to spare troops, supplies to aid the fight. Swansong believes a simpler truth lies beneath the nations in action. No one wants to be the next target. Now, it's a peninsula. A more rural way of life has prevailed with simple farming and fishing villages. It is home to many bird, lizard, and fish people, though several other people have settled there over the years. Okay. The biggest issue in VC faced is the ever-changing nature of the outlands found throughout the peninsula and its effects on those who try to make a living. Okay, let's look at the map just again to see where NVC is. So NVC's here, Vitrumarian's here, so that means that we've got a like crossover in this section. It is a peninsula, so it's got little, like probably a bit of tropicality to it. We've got down here, we can look at the... Well, actually, I need to go back in here. So we have the talk of the pre-invasion events and the Civil War and then Total War, Local War. I'm going to skip those sections for the moment and just go straight into this warlike nation. Those few settlements between the former mountains and the central jungle were caught unawares between the sudden geographical change and the military force bearing down on them. The Vitremarian army made quick work of them, taking the villages as bases of operations. The bulk of the NVC army was still weeks away, but that didn't mean the country was defenseless. General Komodo and his small unit weren't nearly up to the task of stopping a full invasion, but they knew the jungles better than the Vitremarians. They recruited local outland defense groups and hunting parties to hold the line until the rest of the army could join them. The Vitremarian army found fighting in the jungles completely foreign to them, and they were trained in a desert environment, and hot, humid jungles were oppressive and impossible to navigate. Komodo used this to his advantage. Despite being outnumbered 10-1, they easily bested the Vitremarian infantry. So, squads who found themselves lost in the mundane jungles and swamps, bogged down in fetid water, besieged by biting insects, not to mention the eldritch terror of the Outlands. By the time General Bash Bromson arrived with the VCN army, only a few defenders remained, but the line was held. And General Komodo gave his life and is viewed as a hero. They've taken all the resources, they just keep what they currently hold. Okay. So we have a few story seeds here. There is stuff about politics during the antebellum era, which I feel like antebellum, I have to look that up. Oh, antebellum is occurring or existing before a particular war. It's especially used for the American Civil War. Gotcha. And we're not talking about the antebellum period. We're talking about the invasion period. Well, Northern NVCs were known for their isolationist tendencies, having little relation with their coastal counterparts. Those living in a place where the wrong step could kill you aren't doing so because they want to socialize. None of them seemed to care much for others, but the dangers of the land saw them band together in an odd sort of camaraderie. When Vitremaria invaded, they were thinking less about protecting their country when they took up arms about their own solitary way of life. Either way, the same skills that allowed them to survive some of the most hostile regions on the continent made them perfectly suited to be the first line of defense against the Vitremarian invasion. Now everyone is a fighter, from farmer to fisher beyond. While the coastal cities are barely touched by war, the years have changed everyone. Food and equipment are scarce. Everyone has someone they know or love who's gone to the front lines. Even artisans and academics find their life changed under the burdens of war. Prime Minister Hadrian Tailwind was committed to keeping funding for so many non-war effort initiatives as possible, despite the strain it has put on the resources. When Ordonia was struck by the blight, he immediately sent aid in the form of salted fish and pickled seaweed. Many saw this as taking food directly from the mouths of Invicians, even though Tailwind promised there would be enough food to go around. So there have been refugees who've moved to other nations. Carmen Mooncall was a hunter living in Slanza, when it was leveled by a demonic attack. She barely made it out with her life and walked for a week, largely alone, across the nation to Eves. There she found no room for her at the shelters. After 2 weeks on the streets, she had enough. She killed Prime Minister Tailwind with an arrow through the eye in the middle of the day. God. She was arrested on the spot and used her trial to advocate that VC should be helping Invicians. Still reeling from his death, the ministry is conveyed to vote for a new prime minister. To Kill a Swan Song was the favorite and has taken over the nation at war, nearly bankrupt and threatened with further political violence. That is rough. That is very, very, very rough. So they had relations with the Cilicians. However, they have been dealing with the Federation, which has angered the Cilicians. They have Ordonia is an ally, but the Ordonias are currently dealing with the Capernites. If the players do deal with the Capernites in the submission over here in chapter 3, we could say that they can allocate resources to the NVC if Capernites are dealt with, then Ordonia might be able to. Actually, let's go. I'm always mispronouncing Ordonia's name. I just want to double check again. Oridonia. So we'll put down here Oridonia can grant aid to NVC if the following is met. Dealing with the Blight and dealing with the Capper. So while we're in MVC, we're probably, the players are likely to come from a multitude of different ways. If they're coming from the Federation of Eves, they're likely going to come in through the coast, but if they're going to come from Ordonia or Salacha, they're going to be coming down the middle, as it were. Now, I am writing these up into chapters, but I do feel like I should give my players the option to go non-linearly around. Basically, I'm going to be doing the Capernites with the Winter Dragon in this, so that means that the players are going to maybe want to deal with that first because it will be closer to the temple at top. In any case, so for the NVC, we will have to add to here points of entry as a subchapter. Or let's put an overview. Is that what I did in the previous ones? Yeah, I did. Okay, so we have the NVC and we have the Bitchamarian, and we're going to bring the Magocracy of Palpitium here. Why did I say here? I just meant that I was putting that there. Anyway, subchapter 1 will be entering in VC. Now, there are multiple ways that we could enter. We could have a situation where the players are dealing with the main government. So we could go with the city of Nvise. Double checking that that's the right name for it. Ives. The main city is Ives. Okay, so I got that right. And you can't see my notes right now, which means I need to insert a page break here. And that'll give me the ability to scroll up enough that you can see what I'm writing here. Okay, so the NVC city, we do have the Prime Minister possibly greeting the players. And then after that, they probably are going to ask for aid. From Talpidium. Now, Talpidium, if I recall correctly, is a very sequestered location. They are very anti-talking with everyone else, which means we're probably going to have a situation where they'll need to talk and communicate with the Talpidium Queen, a Queen of Sapphire, if need be. Players may not have the ability to aid more so than themselves, but we can determine that during the course of gameplay. I do like giving... I'm not usually a planner for my games. I'm usually what is known in the writing sphere as a pantser, which is flying by the seat of my pants. But that's just because players tend to be more creative than I am a lot of the time. Any case, we have ask for aid from Talpidium, and then maybe ask to bolster the Invase defense. At the very least, this will point the players... If we get in here, the place where the players need to go is probably going to be the jungles of Talpidium, which will house the Autumn Dragon, who I'm going to call Big B because I just like the name Big B, and that's who I had as an Autumn Sheriff in my Changeling Lost game. Just fun. Anyway. Scrolling into here, we are going to go into the antagonist section for Creatures of Gaia, Dragons, the Autumn Dragons. Autumn Dragon, Autumn Dragon, Autumn Dragon. Reapers, terrors, deliverers of both gentle and terror. Deliverers of death, both gentle and terror. The advent of Autumn Dragons speaks of fear, bittersweet hope for future renewal. Autumn Dragons take it upon themselves for the holy duty to act as judge and executioners when it comes to the natural circle of death and rebirth. It is said all Autumn Dragons possess a perfect awareness of preordained fate of all living beings, and even without true answers about said matter, they certainly perceive when doom approaches and defend its importance. Victims and beneficiaries of their gloomy reputations, Autumn Dragons live in contemplative solitude until the time harvest lives comes. That might be me being a little... Autumn Dragons make for a frightening appearance. Their frames appear gaunt and powerful at the same time, with dead leaves, harvest vines, and bones adorn their skins, just as gnarled antlers decorate their heads. Their spindly wings remind of chitinous armor and bleached skeletons, with patterns not unlike that of a spider's web. Their drive is to defend Gaia by ensuring death takes its toll as rebirth may happen. They have some immunities, some abilities here, and they have lightning breaths. That's pretty cool. I feel like they should have rot breath, but I am a weirdo in this regard. In any case, so we have the Autumn Dragon. We are going to deal with... We have that as where they're going to end up, but we need something in between. So let's put that jungle of... It's not jungles of Talpidium, it's jungles of Invisi, the peninsula. So that's the northern part of the continent, or the country. Now, we do have to figure out... I did mention the prime ministers here, and I have been missing out on putting in my aspirations for my NPCs. Aspirations. And so a long term is to end the war. Short-term goal, gain aid or support. And then another short-term goal, this should be a little bit more personal, but maybe the Prime Minister needs some sort of win. Or maybe they need to verify that a family member at the front is alive. And Swan Song was their name. The last name. Maybe a sister, maybe a brother. I like that better than... I like that one. In any case. What other stuff is going on? We probably are going to have Richard Maria Mien spies, which I did that before with the Salacia spies, but they were a lot less prominent than Vitramarian. I might want to look up Vitramaria just to verify that this is something they would do. Vitramaria is a vast desert. They have the war. They have spinning lies about the war. First, he claimed the NVC had stolen Vitramarian land in the past and he was simply trying to win it back. Then he claimed that NVC had started the war by sending an invasion force through the mountains. Now the lies blend with truth and people don't know who to believe. The might of Vitramaria's invasion force sits just inside the NVC border. Though smaller unit has been deployed to keep an eye on the Talpidium border to the north. Okay, so we do have a little bit of that going on. I don't think they would have much of a spy network for this. Mustering troops for the war effort has become increasingly difficult as the war drags on, public sentiment wanes. Finding willing combatants has been difficult. President Hollister instated a conscription for all able individuals to serve at least 2 years in the military. The conscription efforts target mostly young people just emerging from the academy or folks who have been put out of a job due to economic pressures. Okay. That doesn't tell me if there's much of a spy network. I can do a research just for spy. I can do a Control F. Slavan. VCs remaining in the city are torn. Some subjected. There's resistance fighters who are spying. Okay, that's good to know. We can put spies in our game if we want. More likely that the players are going to have to go to Slovenia. Maybe not Slovenia. What is it? It was... Oh, there it is. Slaza. A span of 10 miles from the last remaining mountain in the north where the ranges used to meet the ocean, the conflict between Vitramaria and NVC rages. Places that no one would be able to place on a map before this now sit infamous as sites for pitched battles. Chief among these is the moderately sized city of halfway mark, city of Slavana. While the north held no true population center, Slavana was the biggest one the region had. The city was put under siege within a week, and Daemon sacked the city. Many fled to other cities in the south, and now it serves as a central hub for the occupying forces. Alexandria Copperfoot runs the invasion from the still smoldering ruins. So we do have a Vitramarian point of interest. And we'll change that to the foothold in Slans. Alexandria Copperfoot. Must be a. I like the names. If I were working on this game, I would always have characters with compound names that are basically a descriptor of who they are or what they look like, plus a like physical thing, like iron fingers, or blood fist, or any of the other like crazy orky type names. Or dwarf names, I guess. Watching Lord of the Rings right now, and we have Oakenshield, we have Brandyfoot. You have the Baggins isn't a compound name, but there are plenty of them. Okay, so Slans. Okay. So she's the leader of the army. And I'm going to give her some aspirations. Long term is to win the war. Short term is going to be gain territory. And another one is going to be discover the rebellion. Or break the rebellion. Those are some good aspirations. She can be someone who's the players could choose to side with if they were evil or something, but the players are going to be going. The players are doing stuff that Vitramaria might not even know is happening. The people who do know what's going on are going to still be the Magocracy, who are probably here researching or spying on Vitramarian demonic summoning, and may recognize the players. Again, I'm out of frame when I'm writing this stuff down. I'm always bad at that. In any case, we have a bit of information about this. We need to have like the conflict be a little bit more, though. I'm going to grab some of my character sheets from up here with the Void Warped Puma, who I've written down, but we're going to go with the sub-chapter 2. They're basically entering a war zone here, so we're not going to be able to be as fun and free-spirited as before. So, Slanza. And I can remove that from here. And move that down here, just so that I can have things sort of separated out. Because Slanza is going to be where the Vitramarians are, and the players can deal with the rebellion. I should put down who's leading the rebellion. That's a good idea, Corbin. Why didn't you think of that earlier? Well, I didn't realize it was happening. So we've got Thorny Cooper. He keeps track of troop movements around the city, smuggles resistant fighters into Home Nest to feed information into their system, and leads guerrilla warfare to destroy supply lines. Thorny Cooper is literally my Barrett from Final Fantasy VII. I love it. Leader of rebellion. Aspirations. Long term, take back the city. short. Probably get in contact with Invese command. Short. I think the rebellion needs some supplies. Resupply the rebellion. Okay. I have a little bit of intrigue going on here. Now, as far as the characters go who are going to be in this city, it is going to be the first site of the Vetrimarians, so I feel like the players should have a bit of a... what's the word? Like, it should step it up a bit. So we do have people of the Vitrimaria. So we have the soldiers and brigands, mages and summoners. You know, when I'm imagining these people, I'm imagining the judges from Final Fantasy XII. It's just this, like, these people clad in armor who are going a little bit nuts. All people can learn magic and summoning demons. Double checking here if there's anything that you can use to differentiate the various grunts from each other. I don't think there is, but that's fine, because we're going to be giving the mages demons. So they're going to have actual elite summoners. I believe we might have only dealt with some novice ones. So Vitrimarian summoner. And if I look at the stat block for them, excuse me, we're already using the elite stat block, which is a 10, 8, 5. They do have enhancements to summoning, so a +1 to magic. We can just say a generic +1 to magic for the moment, which we do already have there for enhancement. They're going to have 2 defense and 2 integrity. Their injuries are going to be 7 and their armor's 2. So yeah, these guys are going to be wearing some heavy-duty armor. If I remember correctly with Storypath Ultra, the injury levels for player characters is about 8, which means that essentially the players of armor 2, so essentially they're kind of like set up like the players right now at base level. Anyway, delete that. As far as their qualities go, their qualities are going to be attentive, magical weapons, and willful. I might actually already have that. Yeah, so we can just copy this stuff here. Is this... Okay, so the Capper Knight mages, I also gave them a kind of bigger stat block. Might have overextended myself on the stat blocks. But we'll see how that goes. What other things? Okay, we did give them all the different extra stuff. Oh, they do have a +1 advantage to intelligence. Insert row below. So intelligence, +1 social advantage, or advantage to intellect rolls. That gives them a +3, so be a lot tougher. I want to bring in the Vulpines, because the Vulpines are kind of like the Vulpards. Vulpards are kind of like trickster people that get thrown, that are able to transform into other people. I do like the idea of maybe having a character who's part of the like a thieves guild or something that's following the players, who is a Vulpard. But I might add that later on. That might be something that might be a running plot point for one of the player characters that I'll do. But we'll see. It depends if it takes off, and if it doesn't, we'll have to deal. We're getting close to finishing this. We've still got 2 or 3, like including this one, and we still have 2 more chapters to sort of start writing out or outlining. But it gives me a sense that I might have this ready to go for 2025, which would be really nice, or even before that. I just need players who are willing to sit around for, at the very least, 7 weeks or longer. Okay, so we've got the Vitramarian Summoner already set up, because it's a very similar character to what I had before. What next I'll do is put in a demon, and these are going to be... Oh. Something weird happened when I copied and pasted this. Okay, there we go. We'll put in a demon here. But what demon should we do? Vitramaria is... Oh god, the Archons are so big. Archon... So if I remember correctly, Archons are pretty powerful guys. And the players are going up against this group that is a lot more powerful. And I do think I might have to reshuffle the chapters so that they're not going up against these guys immediately. So we did have the various... Okay, we have using demons. Demons are alien creatures with motives all their own. The party may encounter one at the end of a leash held by an enemy summoner. They may attempt to find one in the Outland and attempt to make a bargain with them. Learning to summon a demon requires the character to first defeat it in some way. This is often through combat, but some demons may simply settle for a test of wits, a race, or a fetch quest, or a crafting contest. Demons should introduce mystery and wonder to the game. Do not be afraid to introduce them as plot points, having the party run across one at random and befriend it, or run into a summoner who is trying to kill them. A player may make it a goal to have their character become a summoner. Be sure to give them plenty of opportunities to find them. A demon outside of the Outlands is a rare sight, but one should create an interesting story. Okay. I wanted to see where the Archons are listed. If there's something about Archon. Archons are amongst the most powerful beings threatening the world. Fearsome creatures capable of taking on entire... Oh no, this is not Scarred Lands. This is At the Gates. At the Gates is a new JRPG-inspired game by Onyx Path Publishing. It's using the Story Path Ultra system, which is currently on BackerKit. And it's a pretty good one, I think. Thank you, M. Walsh, for joining. I could put up... You know what? I'll just post a link here, because there are pre-orders for At the Gates still. So if you get that, you can get the manuscript just like me and go through it as well, if you wish. And if I'm fast enough, I can do it before I start boring people. There, pre-orders. There we go. So Archons are the most powerful beings, the most terrible enemies can face in battle. They range from mighty creatures... Oh, you're doing Realms of Pugmire too? Yeah, that's a fun one. I keep hearing good things about Realms of Pugmire. I need to do that at some point, but I've got Curseborn on my plate for next month, which is going to be fun. I'm excited for it, and hopefully hopefully I can also do Story Path Ultra. But I have so much stuff on my plate right now; it's crazy. In any case. Archons range from mighty creatures embodying Gaia's majesty to primordial demons from the void, worthy of the title of demigod, and all sorts of ancient entities with little to fear from weaker beings. Archons inhabit the realm of legends, cautionary tales, until protagonists meet them and experience the reasons for their fearful reputation firsthand. Okay, so that's an overview of Archons. I don't think I'm going to have too many Archons for them to go up against in this, but I will have some elites thrown in. We already did an Agalump, which is a creature that can eat things, vastly larger things. You heard... M. Walsh has heard rumblings from Dawkins about Curseborn as well. Yes, Curseborn... I have a... I really like what Curseborn is looking like from an outsider's perspective. I haven't seen anything quite yet because I'm just a little guy, but I'm excited because when we were talking about Story Path Ultra and Story Path and the Chronicles of Darkness releases were winding down, I started asking people about what if there was a Story Path urban horror or urban fantasy game, and that was around the time that I think they were probably like 2 or 3 years into development of Curseborn at that time. But during like during the Onyx Path Con, they mentioned that seeing everyone talk about the possibility of an urban fantasy Story Path game was very, like, everyone was like talking about it before it had even been announced, because they were like, well, we as fans were like, oh man, it would be really cool if we could see an urban horror game from Onyx Path again, maybe if they did something on their own. And then it was really exciting to see them announce it at Onyx PathCon 2024. Though we did have inklings of it in 2023 with Danielle running the Story Path Ultra preview, which was a specifically titled like generic urban fantasy game. In any case, I get away from myself. I do really enjoy these games. I've been playing Onyx Path games for quite a while now, and it's just fun to see the birth of something new. Okay, so we have the Nightmare Lanterns here. Summoning a Nightmare Lantern equals confronting your worst fears. Even when properly enticed and bound, the demons elicit a primal response in whoever looks at them, tapping into the deepest recesses of their mind. They resemble disembodied eyes. The actual body of the demon is an ephemeral structure made of dream matter with vague resemblance of a cephalopod or a jellyfish. Oh god, these things are creepy. Among all the demons thus far observed, they have a dreaded reputation, although not because of sheer power. Many other demons are stronger, lots are better warriors, and plenty make for efficient tools on the battlefield. Terrifying control of fear and their capabilities to be well wielded both as weapons. These are cool. I think I would say that this creature might be what they're trying to use to make people like downtrodden in the city. So they have a variety of different abilities. Telepathic omniglot. They can understand all languages. My soul right there. I wish I could understand every language known to man. Honorific horror strikes. They can do some stun tagging stuff. They can do telekinesis and haunting things. Oh, they have some interesting stuff that they can spend on. Okay. This one is contender for main bulwark of my army. I say my army as if I'm Vitramarian. Yes, I am. So we'll put that as uh, an elite that the players are going to have to go up against at some point. I'll fill out all of this later. I do tend to get a little bit crazy with my little quick reference charts, but I do like the idea that of using these guys as essentially the support staff for the army. I don't feel like putting more elites in just at the moment, but I do feel like the Vitramarians have more summoning capabilities than other characters might. So let's see. We have Viombra, which have stealth, murder, and larceny as abilities. We have the Undanes, who have escape restraints, find pathways, and combat. They seem to be more water-based, which I don't think would be great for Vitramaria. I think Quicksilver Dervishes we might have already used. Okay, we haven't used those yet. So maybe what else do we got here? Qunsharok are the spider people, because I remember those from the Ashcan. Then we also have the Chronali. Calculation, defense, and manipulation of speeds. Each demon is a creature of pure power and only takes for an enlightened mind to know how to employ it. Take the Chronali, for example. Alien like few other demons, these gold wheels covered in eyes rotate around a core. Oh, these are the things that I think I turn into ice Chronali or something like that, because they explode. Or something. Oh no, these are okay. They're not fighters. I want something that's fightery. We already did the Harok. Definitely did the Harok, and definitely did the Flagros. Flagros were replaced by the Ice Gross. Because I wanted some more ice themed monsters. Wait a minute, did I do the ice people already? I feel like I did do ice. Where are the ice people? Okay, Spring Dragon we did. Temple of the Dragon we did. Is it in the Olymp? No? Okay, these are the Ice Gross. Oh, I did them in the Dragon of Spring episode because the Capra Knights are going to have ice-themed creatures at their beck and call. That makes sense. Okay, so we have the Nightmare Lantern. And I think we're going to have to use this Quicksilver Dervishes as basic enemies. The Quicksilver Dervishes have a pool of 8. They are adept. God, okay. Double checking how much injury some of these creatures have, because I remember and some things have slower injury levels. We're almost at time here. I'm going to be a little bit quick in throwing these creatures in here. Next week we won't be covering this. We will be doing Scion God, which is a pretty cool game. I really like some of the abilities that you get as gods in that, because it's just like You can literally change someone's life with that game. If you're like a good or bad god, you can do different things. Adept, and then if I'm right, it's 853. I did that right. 864. Off, missed it by that much. Their enhancement is +1. Their defense is 1, integrity 1, armor 2. And their injury is 4. Initiative is probably higher because they're a whirling dervish. Initiative 4. That's serviceable. And claim my bonus. And they have a variety of different abilities. Masterful Strikes, which do the wound tag. This is where I feel like the magic that they can do is very special. It's very like cool. Oh, here they even say Quicksilver Paragons use the elite template, which we don't have an elite template for them in this. We do have mention of their soul going from 1 to 2, which is sort of like how much they can spend to do magic stuff. But they have natural weapons that are piercing, wounding, and slippery. Master Sword Daemons of the Void, a claim not without its foundations. Not only Quicksilver Dervishes demonstrate an astonishing ability to at any task requiring dexterous coordination and precision, but their talents translate into masterful demonstration of martial skill. The strange appearance of them dervishes' uniform, when not accounting for temporary changes, makes people and demons wonder if some mighty entity forged the Quicksilver dervishes as a personal army of sorts. One created with the exact purpose of excelling at war and weapons crafting. For their part, Quicksilver dervishes don't reveal much. Each of them has identity of their own, as war-focused as it might be, and if any interrogates themselves about their nature, none are telling. Yeah, these people are going to definitely be using these guys as foot soldiers. In any case, we have the starts of a fight in the city. We will say that the Autumn Dragon is held within the city, I think. The Autumn Dragon is resting in the slot. I was gonna say it was gonna be in the jungle, but I feel like it makes more sense to have them in the underground, maybe. Let's say under City Hall. And that'll be where we find the dragon. Now, I do kind of want to put a boss fight in here with a tougher daemon inside City Hall. And we can actually put an Archon there, maybe. An Archon that maybe is possessing a person or something. And I might be going a little crazy on this. Bright Inflate, Lightning Bolts Hunt. I like this as a Hail Mary. We could have them summoning Void Worms. Yeah, Void Worm would be a great enemy for like the last dragon. So I'll put a Void Worm in there. Hail Mary summon the Void Worm. Maybe they know about the prophecy that the dragons can be used to defeat the demons or the sovereigns, but we'll see about that next time. For now, I am the Awkward GM Corbin. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a good one listening to me, and we will go into another thing where we maybe raid another channel or something, but I hope you have a good one. You can catch me at the Awkward GM Corbin on YouTube, and also there is the, again, backer kit for Storypath Ultra. SPU backer kit. And then there's also the Firstborn Kickstarter. If you want to sign up for notifications for that, I think they said that they're just at like 490 or something people. Check them out as much as you can. Sign up for that so that you can know when it's going live, and maybe we'll hit that 500 people for Curseborn ahead of time. Okay, let me go to the pre-roll and have a good night.